This is Jason Marsden, the voice of Duke from G.I. Joe Renegades. You're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Yo, Joe.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1Mike and the rest of the comic crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, and Image to IDW, Boom Studios, and Zenescope, we have everything right here. We cover things like Transformers, He-Man, superheroes, TMNT, and Radiant Black. Yeah, we have all that and so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So, without further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we're reading right now, here inside the pull bag.
Hello and welcome to the pull bag. This is episode 526. We are in the middle of G.I. Joe June. Apparently that's going to be a thing from one of their live streams from Hasbro Pulse and all that stuff. But G.I. Joe June, we are wrapping up the World on Fire / Castle Fall thing. Now, when you suggested to do both of these, and I knew about World on Fire at the time, so that's all well, good, and fine. But I didn't, when you said, oh, we should put Castle Fall in there too, I'm like, oh, okay, thinking Castle Fall was the next, 6-issue series. No, it's just a one-shot that ends the World on Fire story. Or an epilogue to the World on Fire story. So if no one has heard the World on Fire story, you can go back to episode 521 where Eduardo M. Fryer joined me. Never gonna get it right.
Remember, just think Friar Tuck, Deep Friar,
yep.
Friar Lawrence from Romeo and Juliet.
Yep. Absolutely. So he is back, and this is G.I. Joe Castle Fall from IDW Publishing. This most likely will be the last time the first episode in episode 521, and this episode will probably be the only time we cover IDW G.I. Joe stuff, unless the new publisher, which we will talk about at the end of this podcast, decides to reprint the IDW stuff under their own brand. I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon.
Well, I know IDW did the Devils Do stuff and just called it what was it, Redacted or something? I don't know.
Yep, I think that's what it was.
They had a name for it. It was...
See, the problem is the IDW books, the Transformers books specifically, I believe they are being removed from Amazon. I'm actually looking at some stuff, and I see some stuff, but not everything, and it's a little sad that that's happening, actually. Wish it wasn't happening, but we start with the cover to, I want to say World on Fire, but it's not, it's Castle Fall. A big old roadblock with a chain gun. Gotta love it.
Yeah, hey, that's the block we know and love. I mean,
yep.
It's either that or he's got the chef's hat on, making up some yummy goodies in the commissary.
Yep. Looking at this cover, I want a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover with Roadblock with his chain gun of doom and Rhinox from Beast Wars with his chain guns of doom. That would be amazing.
Ooh, you know that. Hey, you know what? I can dig it. I'm feeling it. Yep. I'm feeling it.
Absolutely. So this
we did get Roadblock and Grimlock in Dreamwave's Transformers crossover. Not quite what you're asking for, but
well, true. But I mean, it
close.
People or robots or whatever who use chain guns, like anybody who uses a chain gun, the team of chain gun mercenaries or whatever you want to call them, like that would be amazing. So we start off with Scarlet and Tiger, and apparently it's been a year since they started training, and she still almost kicks his ass, even though he got a punch in at the end, which did not happen a year ago. This is good. This is interesting. Yeah, I like this. And then we cut to outside where all these vehicles are having a race. They're not really having a race, but they're doing something. And Scarlet is back at the ops center with Fadeaway is her name, I believe. The trader that went from one side to the other. Right? That is Fadeaway.
Yeah,
that's Fadeaway. Yeah, that is Fadeaway. Because she calls her Fadeaway later. Yeah. So they're chasing somebody or doing something, and yikes. Lots of fighting.
Yep.
And I don't mean to be a person who I'm a referential person, folks. It doesn't matter what the reference is. I don't care about the specifics of the reference. But in the scene later, as they're driving down and they get ambushed and all that, and Tiger says, "What? That's impossible, buddy. You need No. Who needs a tripod when you've got me?" And we've got Roadblock.
Yep.
So what that reminds me of is good old Bradley Cooper as Faceman in 2010's A-Team. You know, "Hey Bosco, pop a window. I'm gonna go have a look outside," when they're flying the tank. Oh my god, that's what this reminds me of. Yeah. With Roadblock standing there with the chain gun of doom is exactly what it reminds me of. It's so hilarious. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, although Block can sometimes be a bigger badass than Bradley Cooper. No offense, Bradley.
I mean, yeah.
No offense.
Poor Rocket. He ain't got no respect.
Well, you know. But you know, talking a lot. You know, it's funny that you should think that, you know, you should say that there's a scene that that references A-Team for you, because thinking about Castle Fall, I actually thought, you know, because this basically is this it wraps up the this particular IDW universe. I mean, little bit of a spoiler. Yeah, you know, it's not a total ending.
Yeah.
But it's good in, you know, with the fact that, you know, by this time we knew that, I think by the time it came out, we knew that IDW was going to be
I'm pretty sure.
Closing up its shops.
Because, well, they haven't closed up shop. I want to make that clear to everybody. IDW Publishing is still a publishing comic company. Turtles is still, you know, furthering their
Trek stuff. But I'm saying that the Hasbro stuff.
You're right. No, absolutely. But I just wanted everyone to understand that we know it's not just. They aren't completely. It isn't like Dreamwave where they went out of business. Like
they left and they never had like any sort of resolution. Like
and they left it. Which I'm surprised that IDW did not pick up the Dreamwave ball in some sort of weird like one shot or one like just to I don't know.
Okay,
but anyway,
to the best of my knowledge with that, it had more to do with the fact that there's a bunch of stuff concerning Dreamwave that is tied up in like some legal stuff, because you know there are people who were supposed to get paid for their work who weren't, so
exactly
you know, it's one of those things where it'll be you know, as much as we want to see as much as we want to see this stuff wrapped up or to see what was supposed to happen, it'll take a while. It will take a long while. Better for worse, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, so, absolutely. But I was just saying, but I was just commenting that IDW did like they brought Simon Furman on and did Regeneration 1 and continued the Marvel kind of thing, and they did other things. And all as I was saying was, I'm surprised somehow, some way they couldn't have found a way to give the Dreamwave fans the ending that they so rightfully deserve that they will never get because that company went out of business. All right, back to Joe. Yeah, so this is a nice send-off, I think. This has... Yeah. It feels like it's more than a one-shot. It feels like it's a full-on... Like, normally when you get one-shots, it's... So any story should have a beginning, middle, and end, but, sometimes when you have monthly comics, you have to keep the reader going. But because this was a one-shot, as I was reading it, I'm like, wow, this comic is kind of... And I'm reading it at the tail end of World on Fire, because luckily... And again, thank you for saying that it was a whatever, because it's in the World on Fire trade paperback, so I didn't have to buy the single issue by itself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, good, it's right here. That's good.
Yep. Something, and then the other thing I think for me with Castlefall. Now, here's a question I got for you. Have you heard of, or did you ever see a TV series in the 90s? It was called Space Above and Beyond.
I've heard about it, but I've never actually watched it. I know that it exists. Okay, yeah. I don't know exactly. Okay. I haven't even seen trailer. Wasn't it a Canadian series?
It was on Fox.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wasn't it like on Fox? Time of like Beyond Belief and all that stuff. 2000, 2001.
No, it was Space Above and Beyond. I want to say was 95, 96. Okay. Because I was still in high school. My best friend from high school, he did. This was another Mike that I knew, as I called him instead, Miguel. But yeah, he and I were both fans of this. Now, the reason I bring it up in relation to Castlefall is that the show only lasted one season. It got canceled.
Right.
The last episode reminds me a bit of Castlefall in the sense that, while Castlefall doesn't wrap up everything, basically it does end with, one city being liberated. Yeah, and there's still a bunch of other stuff out, still a bunch of plot lines that really weren't handled, tied up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't given with a bow tie, but if this is supposed to be the last hurrah, for this G.I. Joe continuity, as, IDW hands over the keys to the next company, works.
Yeah,
the ending is satisfying enough. Yeah, it's satisfying enough. And that's the thing. Space Above and Beyond, that last episode of season 1, now it does end on a bit of a downer note because one cast member is definitely dead, 2 more are missing, and another one has to get medically evacuated back to Earth.
Oh boy.
And is probably never going to fight again. Leaving only 2 members of the cast still standing.
Right.
And that's kind of a bummer, but given the whole war is hell type of feel that the series was going for, it works. Yeah. Like, if this is how it's supposed to, if this is how they're going to end it, then, it works. It's a downer, but it works. And this is how I feel with Castlefall.
Yeah.
If this is going to be an end, it works. Yeah. If this was meant to be end of chapter 1, it works.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about and it's like something else that I want to bring up is about this time, maybe even a little later, I think. Mm-hmm. The IDW's second Transformers continuity ended with a one-shot called The Fate of Cybertron.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
No, IDW's second run Unless you're talking about the 2019 series?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, because to me, there are 3 volumes to IDW, to me personally, and the reason why I say that is because there was IDW 1.0, which was all the stuff before James Roberts and John Barber took over. IDW 2.0 was when Barber and Roberts took over with More Than Meets the Eye, Robots in Disguise, and then we got down to the Unicron event, and then they rebooted again. So I have not read past, in trade paperback, I have not read past volume 3 of IDW's 2019 series. So I don't know what happens in volumes 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, but it did end with a one shot called The Fate of Cybertron. And that one I was not very satisfied with. It didn't feel like really them trying to wrap things up.
Yeah.
It just felt like crap. We can't wrap up everything. That felt more like this is the end of chapter 1.
Yeah.
Especially because there was a lot of stuff hanging, and characters that you don't think would be left hanging were left hanging, and I'm just like, wow, that's
yeah, and it's one of those things where I don't like. Okay, I think I've said this to you before, but I'll say it again for the audience. And audience, I'm sorry, I repeat myself a lot.
Saves them from going back to old episodes.
Please go back to the old episodes and listen. We need downloads. But something like Crisis on Infinite Earths, something like Endgame, something like insert final fatal Transformers Unicron, something that IDW had the Transformers license in total for 17 years. Okay.
Yep.
They didn't bring Unicron in until they absolutely thought that's where the story was Like, you don't bring in Unicron in your series or your whatever until the end. If you want to end it and you want to reboot it or you want to start a new story, that's when you bring Unicron in. So for me, personally, the IDW universe of Transformers comics that I love, that started out with the death of Optimus Prime, going to More Than Meets the Eye and Robots in Disguise, and then later Optimus Prime and Lost Light, respectively. Once you hit Unicron on that universe, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And we covered, Steve Megatron and I covered the first 3 volumes of the 2019 series, and I just couldn't get into the character. I still want to finish it at some point, if I even can. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have to, figure out some legal way to get it, but it is what it is. Fate of Cybertron. Decepticons unleashed their most powerful weapons to prevent the Autobots from leaving Cyber. What? Who wrote this? Oh, Ruckley. That's the other thing. I was not after 3 volumes of the Transformers Brian Ruckley stuff, that was the first time I'd ever read anything by him. I was not a fan of his writing. I don't know what it was. I just was not a fan of his writing at all. But anyway, back to Castlefall. Boy, we really have to pad out this episode, don't we, folks? Yeah, and it's funny because they don't really... I skip. We're not skipping as far as the story goes, but I skipped to the final panel, and it doesn't say anywhere on here, who was it? It was what's the guy? When Spider-Man. The guy that did it for like 10 freaking years.
Dan Slott?
Yes, Dan Slott. When Dan Slott took over, or when Dan Slott was leaving, and then Nick Spencer took. How the hell I remember Nick Spencer's name? I've never read a single comic of the Nick Spencer run yet. When Dan Slott was leaving and he was ending his story, most comics, if you are rebooting the character into something new, the final story will say the end. This does not say the end anywhere in this at all. So I would love to see more from these. I love these characters. Between, like we said in episode 521 with World on Fire and with this final one shot here, this is like, I've never been, like, I'm not always on the G.I. Joe side. I'm more on the Transformers side of things than anything else, because I made a choice when I was 4 years old in 1984 to go with the giant robots than the military, but that's just me. And I like G.I. Joe. I don't dislike it. I have the cartoon series. We're going to eventually do that at some point over on Tooncast with Optimus Solo and a bunch of other people. But as far as comics go, without having to read, like, what is it, 200 issues, and I'm not disparaging this. I'm just saying, without having to read 200 issues of Larry Hama comics, not that that's a bad thing, but, like, I like when I can jump in on the ground floor, and I feel like World on Fire and Castle Fall was the ground floor for this set of Joes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it was great to have a story that, you don't have to rely on
40 years of content.
40 years of content. I love Hama.
Yeah.
I love Hama, and something we can talk about later is that those who love Hama like me, we will be getting more.
Yep.
But
And
it is great also to have.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, it is great to have a continuity you can jump on without needing to know.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think, I kind of wonder because, Slott got to put a definitive end on his run. And it's like, this doesn't say the end. I kind of wonder, I have to wonder, and maybe if one of us was ever to run into the writer at a convention or something, we can find out.
Yeah.
I have to wonder, is this one of those things where they did have Castle Fall was always going to be a thing.
Yeah.
It was always going to be a thing, but I have to wonder, is it something that they had, this was originally maybe planned to be an issue, like maybe to close a storyline. They were going to do more, but then word came down that the G.I. Joe license was going to be shifting. So, this ended up becoming a series finale instead of a season one.
Yeah.
I even have to wonder, was Castle Fall going to be just part of the regular comic? And then they were like, nope, we're going to be announcing soon that our license has expired. So can you just wrap it up in this one shot?
Yeah. And eventually, like I said, I do want to try. I always want to give it the old college try of doing various things. And I had plans to do Transformers this is the 2019 series, Volume 4, Declaration of War, Volume 5, Horrors Near and Far, and then Volume 6, War's End, which was collecting 37 to 43. And then, like you said, The Fate of Cybertron was kind of like the final one-shot episode. So I do want to eventually do that if I can get I'm probably going to have to actually order the physical trade paperbacks, which physical comics, I haven't used physical comics since Punisher, what's the one, Welcome Back Frank. I had that. I have told this story 1,000 times, folks, but this podcast is a decade old this year, so you're going to hear shit from the past. I had Welcome Back Frank physically in omnibus form. All 12 issues. Yeah. I'm holding it. I'm reading it. I'm enjoying it. I'm flipping through the pages as I'm reading the book. All of a sudden, my hand goes limp. I fell asleep. The book fell out of my hand, crashed to the floor. The very next day, I went on to Comixology.com, and I have not looked back since with digital comics, because at least I can, at the time when Comixology wasn't bought by Evil, I could read them on my giant computer screen. Now I am reduced to reading them on my phone, which is fine. It is what it is. I still enjoy the art. I love the stories from whatever comics I read, but I wish somehow, some way, Amazon did not incorporate Comixology and make it Kindle Comics and just keep the same user interface that Comixology had for years that were... Sorry. I'm on a tirade. I gotta stop. All right, G.I. Joe.
Breathe. Take a breath.
Breathing is good, folks.
Take a breath. Take a glass of water. It's okay. It's okay. Believe me, I really wish that hadn't happened too, but I make do, and I actually still do physical comics, although it's more grabbing trades of collections. But yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, for the IDW stuff specifically that I still want to cover before they are okay, at some point, I don't know when, but I do know the exact person I'm going to do this with.
Okay.
And we're on such a tangent, folks, but we're padding out this episode because this is only one issue of a comic, even though it feels like 7. Years and years and years ago, 30 years ago, back in the 90s, Marvel, somehow, some way, Marvel and DC decided to get along, and they released a 4-issue crossover. DC versus Marvel.
I remember. I actually voted on a few of the fights.
So
and I just remember I'm like, oh, I'm going to use logic.
How'd that work out for you?
In some cases, it worked out really well. In other cases, I'm like, are you effing kidding me? This guy would never beat this guy.
Yeah.
I don't care how popular Wolverine is. Lobo would leave him a bloody splatter on the floor. You know this to be true.
Does have healing factor, unless he didn't have his healing factor at that time. But
no, he did. It's just Lobo's a freaking intergalactic bounty hunter who's gone toe-to-toe with Superman, who can level an entire freaking building. I don't care about your freaking healing factor. Wolverine would have lost. Maybe he wouldn't have died, but he would have been gone for a couple of hours because he would have probably had to heal most, if not all, of his bone structure and nerve endings.
Yeah.
Freaking popularity BS. Trapo. How badly can I swear in this?
You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me.
All right. I just no.
I know.
I want to be cognizant of the audience.
Yeah, I need to see something anyway, because I need to see what.
Okay.
So anyway, DC versus Marvel at the time, which I don't want to buy it again. I want to see the order details, you idiots. Okay, so DC versus Marvel, the 4 issues that combined the companies. They did the story with the whatever, the Watcher. It wasn't the Watcher, but it was some weird I don't remember. So
it was some cosmic thing.
Yeah, it was some cosmic.
They went cosmic.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So
just say cosmic.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had a hard time on eBay finding each individual issue. So I'm like, okay, where can I get the physical trade paperback of this? Because I know there was one. Back on August of last year, luckily, all my bills were paid, all my financial responsibilities were done. On Amazon, I paid just over $120 for the trade. And it's in my closet, and my buddy Comic Concierge, Dan Clark, and I are going to do it. Are going to cover it at some point on the podcast. I don't know when. I am even though I plan on being cremated, that book is going to be buried with me. Just because of having to find the damn thing in good condition, and it's a 30-year-old comic. I don't mind. If I have the money and I can spend it, I will. But I was, and the stupid thing was so stupid. As soon as I bought it, listings popped up. Here, would you like this? Exact same thing. Would you like this for $60? Half price.
Yep.
I'm like, we got to be. All right.
Yep. Hey, I've gotten trades, and then all of a sudden, like, would you like the individual issues? I'm like, no.
That's why I bought the trade.
Yeah. I don't need the individual issues. It's like, would you want this omnibus that collects this and this? No.
Because I don't want the other story.
I don't need the omnibus. Thank you. You could have told me that to begin with.
Yep.
I'm okay.
So
I'm okay.
We go back to G.I. Joe.
Anyway,
and Scarlet, I'm up to the page where Scarlet says, Frontier, we can't provide backup once you go subterranean. So they go subterranean, no more backup. So that's kind of where we are. And holy crap, lots of fights.
Yep, big fight scene.
Yep.
And Lady J capped somebody in the head.
About time she did something.
Ouch, capping in the head. Damn. Yep. This ain't your dad's G.I. Joe.
No, folks.
They're not just gonna smack him in the head with the butt of their rifle.
Nope, not at all.
Nope. But
that was a good scene.
Oh yeah. And you got and then of course you have the big twist because they think they're catching Dr. Mindbender, and it turns out to be
Major Blood.
Yep. Major Blood.
Good old Major Blood.
That
old Major Blood, however you want to say
whatever.
that.
Hey, the everybody's favorite Australian mercenary.
Yeah.
There we go. Because I think he's Aussie.
Yeah. Once again,
accent.
Yeah. Once again, I have to praise the art team on the colors because between the fight and then the large panel Jeep scene of them driving, and then the next page of the all kind of like blues and blacks, and the color swap is so like it just bleeds. And when I say bleeds, I mean bleeds in a good way, which usually when somebody says the word bleed, it's not a good thing. But like it just flows into each scene, and it just works so well.
Yep. And I like kind of the simplified designs. The simplified artwork. I think did I say that in the when we covered the series at proper? Because I think
we did. We brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
works.
the interesting thing. Like you want the characters to pop. You don't need the light above her, like on the page where he asks, "You okay, Lady J?" "I'm fine." Like I said on the radio, like there's a light right above her head. You don't need the light to be illuminated more than it already is. What you need is to see her as a character, see Major Blood, see Scarlet, see whatever I forget what the kid's name is. That's next to Scarlet's. That's the. Like, everybody was complaining with the Beast Wars comic from IDW that happened in 2021 that the characters had all this definition, but the backgrounds were just really simple. The point was the backgrounds were to be as colorful and as easy as possible on the eyes so you can focus on the majority of the character designs, which popped. The background was not supposed to pop, and I don't think in this comic series, the only time the background should pop is if you have the swing lines here. So we get to a point where Scarlet is like Major Blood sticks out his hand and says, "So, Major Blood reporting for duty. What do you say?" Sticks his hand out to Scarlet. Scarlet just kind of stares at him. Bam! Shoots him with a John Woo dove coming out of nowhere. And the next insert panel is I Say No, with more John Woo doves flying around her. But the point here is the way she swung around her arm, which is weird because in both of these panels, she shoots him with her right hand, but the panel that I'm talking about that I love, the gun is in her left hand. That's so whatever, it is what it is. But like the lines around that to show the action of how she switched hands or how she did whatever she did, that is a background pop. But she still is the main focus of the panel to her character versus having the doves fly like in front of her face, which thankfully they didn't do that.
Yeah, no, and it's like I keep thinking, classic comics. You have like there's I forget if it's Kirby that did this, but there was like an really old from the 1960s or so. There's a Captain America comic where Cap is facing Batroc.
Okay, and
it's like. You have this like you have like these couple of pages with these panels of various sizes showing blow by blow of their fight. There's no background. It's just white, and you have the two figures, but it's like that's all you need. It's like this is a comic. This is a comic. You don't need. It's not like The Matrix.
Yeah,
it's not like The Matrix where you have the rain-soaked city streets and there's Carrie-Anne Moss just covered in water and
okay,
just
I'll take
watching
that.
as Mr.
I'll take that any day. Like forget Mr. Smith. I'll anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, but you understand what I was going for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You get it.
You're accentuating the character. Not the background should complement the character. The background should not. I mean, the only time the background should be like the star is like later in this comic. They have like the Cobra flag in one panel, or there's the building where the Cobra symbol is on it. There's a panel here where they show the heliport later. Like that can be because you're not focused. Like that heliport shot is not. There aren't any characters. I mean, there are probably characters on the roof as we see, but like in that shot, the background is the star. Whereas if you have, like we've already said, a character in frame or a character in the shot, the way to do that is the accentation of the. And I know that's not a word of the character versus the background.
Yeah. Well, and I also think of the fact that what I also think about is, looking at the page where we have the whole back and forth between Major Blood, and Scarlet. Looking at that. So you have the top panel, which is Scarlet shooting Major Blood.
Yeah.
And that has the two characters in silhouette.
Yeah.
And the and then there's no background. But to me, I'm just like, okay, this still works because the focus is to trick the audience into thinking, whoa, holy cow, did she just gun down Major Blood? Did she just kill him? Did we just have a major character getting killed? We don't need to see buildings. We don't need to see, anything surrounding. It's just the focus is Scarlet, and did she shoot Major Blood? That's it.
Yep.
The scene doesn't. The scene's focus is that. It's not. It's nothing else. We don't need to see anything else in the back.
Yeah. And she says to whoever she's. I think is that. It's not Flint. It's God. Who's the old guy? The general she's talking to after that scene.
The old guy. I believe that's Hawk.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's Hawk, it looks nothing like
Hawk. Yeah.
Looks nothing like the way it should look, which is Dennis Quaid. But she says it was a tactical decision. I just don't know if I believe you, Scarlet.
Yeah.
This is Major Blood we're talking about. The man who killed Duke. The man responsible for the deaths of thousands. 10-1 odds he was playing us. He would pretend to be an asset until the right moment came along. And then he would betray us.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that sounds like Major Blood.
Yeah, very much so.
Yep, that's Major Blood.
Yep. And then Dr. Mindbender is playing dog tricks. Okay, then. Yeah.
All right.
And we
so
finally get to see more of Cobra Commander, finally. Like, I feel like we haven't seen much of... He's been in the background of World on Fire and Castle Fall for the most part, and now we finally get to see him. And that's cool.
Yeah, no, and it's... But you know what? I do... I do, though. I like the idea of Cobra Commander being behind the scenes. You know, I like him being kind of off to the side, you know, as sort of this, you know, as just sort of this force that's there. You know, we know Cobra Commander's there. We know he exists. But, you know, for the life of everybody, how do we prove that? What do we do with it? You know, it's like, how do you know, this thing exists, but, you know, he's being clever enough to just be in the shadows. Yeah. And I like that. I like that he's, you know, I mean, as cool as it is to have a bad guy that gets his hands dirty, there's also something cool about a mastermind that's just like, look, I called you here because you have stuff to do, because you're not getting the job done. Why aren't you? Are you going to have to be replaced? Because I can do that.
I love what Baroness says to him. Way outside your lane, Doc Monocle.
Yeah, and that also that feels a little like a Baronessy thing, you know. I remember in the Marvel run a couple of times to poke fun at him. You know, people would call Mindbender Dr. Brainwave, and it was just accepted that this is just people being jerks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like, oh, you know, Mindbender's just such a weirdo. You know, okay, Brainwave. Oh, wait, that's not your name? Oh, well, could have fooled me. Could have fooled me. Oh, well.
What was the stupid idiot's name in The Flash? It wasn't Brainwave. It was season 7 or 8. There was one season where it was this guy in a chair. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I know the one you're talking about. The Thinker.
That's, the Tinker. Yeah, the Thinker. Good Lord.
I remember him. Yeah.
What a 1960s name that is. We get Cobra Commander saying they are not just terrorists. They are foolish. They are fools who have no idea what is best for this world, and my patience with them is at an end. And then we cut to Scarlet and Tiger doing more training, and she kind of gets the better of him again. I thought that would be like a teacher or student learning from the teacher, and he gets the best of her at the end. But again, talking about characters and action shots and backgrounds, the top of this page, these 4 panels with the blue outlines of wherever they are, and how like that top panel here where she's standing and her, you know, left foot kind of blends into the blue and white of the like it blends in, but it stands out at the same time. That is really good.
Oh yeah.
And Major Blood is kind of alive. He's still here, so that's good, I guess. What are you laughing at?
I just love the way you're like, that's good, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, he's a villain, right? He's part of the bad. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're right. It's like, okay, you know, he's a villain, but you know, it's hey, I do like the comical little touch. There's a cute little "Get Well Soon" card.
Yeah, that is
like
fun.
next to him. It's like you gotta wonder who's nice enough to be like, yeah, get well soon. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck recovering from your injuries. Like, who's the fan that thought it would be nice enough to do that?
And then we get to some part of the city, and hey, I just lost contact with shot right in the whatever, and the bats show up, and they ain't no Louisville Sluggers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Nope. These guys. They have like BFGs on them.
Yep. And again, color-wise, I love the panels with Cobra Commander and Baroness, with it all being red around them and their cohorts, and that's again, the art in this is just so good.
Oh yeah. No, and Fadeaway talking with Scarlet. She's like, "Oh, mobilize the teams." Fadeaway's like, "Which teams?" All of them.
Yeah.
It's like Scarlet, I think, was one changed piece of art away from probably screaming it like Gary Oldman in The Professional.
Yeah.
Which teams? Oh!
What's the other one? What's the other reference where? It's something that's overused now, and I don't like that it's overused now, but I will say again.
Yeah.
Once again, going back to that 2010 classic film, The A-Team. Fire everything! Everybody uses that now, and it pisses me off because Liam Neeson, I'm sure it was said before 2010, but Liam Neeson as Colonel John Hannibal Smith of the A-Team saying that in a tank that they are flying. That was and it has the bumper sticker, fire everything, on the back of the tank.
I want to say, I'm trying to remember though.
Uh-huh.
Hang on, I'm trying to remember. I think Nero says that in Star Trek 2009.
Yes, he does.
He says, "Fire everything." Yep.
It's been used a lot. I'm not saying that it hasn't been used, but lately people have been using it too much.
A lot, yeah. Well, and then there's a great variation with Star Trek Generations.
Mm-hmm.
When they're trying to back out of the Nexus in the beginning. The captain of the Enterprise B, Captain Cameron Fry of the Enterprise B, yelling, "All engines spare reverse!"
Oh Lord, yeah, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, but you know what? The volume and the intensity are very similar.
Yes, but it's not the same thing.
It's along the same lines. Same intensity,
Same intensity, but not the same line, so it doesn't count.
Okay, no, it counts. It counts.
It doesn't count. Look,
no,
I don't want any other Enterprise, no bloody A, B, C, or D. That counts.
All right, Scotty. Whatever you say, Scotty.
So we get back to Major Blood and Dr. Mindbender, and they're they're arguing over credits over the whatever they're doing here. G.I. Joe did, and I've investigating them for months, and I've found their headquarters, hacked their intelligence, but I still can't give you credit for it. I'm like, really? Seriously? Come on. So okay. He chokes him. Oh no. He throws him out the window. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Wow, okay. At first I thought he was just going to strangle him and just okay. He just drops him out the window. Alrighty then. Well, no more Dr. Mindbender, because I don't think you could survive a fall from that high. That looks like pretty high up building.
Yeah, no, that does.
Yeah, that hospital, if I can see other, like in the scene in the panel, it's right after where Mindbender says, I can think my way out of anything. So it's after that panel where Blood reaches for him.
Yep.
The building that's next to Mindbender, the little green building outside the window, there's no way that they're not on like the first or second floor. That's going to kill him.
Yeah,
he did.
He did. He gone. Guess we're gonna have to like call Dr. Venom and just be like, hey, you want to be in the comic? Because
exactly.
we're gonna need a mad scientist.
Yep.
We're gonna need a mad scientist. You free?
So, okay, I understand that this whole thing is Cobra is supposed to be the in charge and whatever else, but them calling G.I. Joe terrorists, what am I missing here? Like,
well, you answered the question when you started your sentence. Cobra are supposed to be the ones in power.
Right.
So pretty much, yeah, that would make G.I. Joe the terrorists. Of course, there is the thing. Well, there is the thing though. There is the thing though where one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter.
That's true.
So, it's Cobra calling G.I. Joe terrorists. That's like...
Right. I get it. Like, hey, we're in charge. We're the president this year. Let's, stop trying to revolt against us. Stop trying to, incursion on the White House, people.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. It's like, hey, Cobra's in charge. We're in charge. We're making the rules. And if you're against us in the rules, that makes you the bad guys.
Yep.
Which is not entirely true, but those who are in charge can sometimes make the rules. Yep. It's like according to my rules, you're not, it's yeah.
And then is this tiger that's running away? I assume that's in the red shirt, in the red jacket. This is after Cobra Commander gets on the helicopter.
Well, let's see. Okay, let me see.
Where he says they're going to get Baroness next. Who has an eye on Baroness? And he runs into Baroness. That is Tiger, right?
Let me see. We got. Yeah, Tiger is usually the one with the red jacket.
Yeah, so that's Tiger.
But yeah, I've got eyes on. Yeah, that is Tiger. That is Tiger.
Yeah.
The only.
So, good.
But yeah, well, especially because since he's getting into a fist fight.
Yeah, true.
With the Baroness, he's getting into a fist fight with the Baroness, and this is, if you look when he and the Baroness are fighting.
Yeah.
The 6 panels, they mirror the earlier thing with Tiger versus Scarlet.
With Scarlet, yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing that confuses me, as much as I like it, you impudent child, what? You think I shouldn't hit a lady? I think you should not touch a superior. And I'm thinking, as much as I love when Baroness undresses, why is she undressing?
Well, I think, okay. In this case, what's going on is she's gonna get into fisticuffs with Tiger.
Okay.
And she knows enough that if she really wants to give him a beating, then wearing that jacket is not going to help.
Okay. All right.
She knows enough about hand-to-hand combat. You don't wear, sorry, but fans of that leather jacket look thing. Yeah, if you're going to go toe-to-toe with somebody, ditch the jacket. It's not. It looks cool, but it is going to be a hindrance.
Yeah.
You want your arms unencumbered.
And she basically, hands his ass to him.
I don't know about hands ass. I think that He puts up a decent fight. I mean, he doesn't.
He doesn't. No. So she takes her jacket off. No, she takes her jacket off. She punches him in the first panel. He kind of pushes, and she's pushing and pulling and whatever. It looks like he bites her hair in the next panel, and then she.
Ear.
No. The ear is later. The ear is the second to last panel, but the one right after she pushes him away the first time, he's in close again, and then she pushes him away again. Then the final time is he bites her ear, and Scarlett's like, and I taught him everything he knows. Fine, let's no. That's fun. That's okay. I like that. That's interesting. But it wasn't like he was punching her back. That's my point. It was more of a what is it? It's a grappling type of fighting where they're grabbing at each other. They're not. There was one punch that she threw at him in that panel. He threw no punches at her after the first time he punched her. So that's kind of my point. Like, wait a minute, and then obviously he does the bitch move and bites her ear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those. It does feel like one of those fights that's it's not really a fight so much. It's like it turns into a grapple. Turns into a grappling match, which it happens. Kind of not every fight is going to be this great little martial arts exchange where it's like punches and kicks.
Well, again, like you said, this whole scene is like it's a red and white background, whereas when Scarlett taught him everything he knows, it was a blue and white background. So it's a mirror of each of the things, but like they're not doing the same. Like they're not mirroring the previous scene. They're doing it in a way where it shows the scene looks like the previous scene, but they're
it's homaging. It is definitely homaging the previous scene. It's just not. It's not an absolute mirror. There's not a lot of punching and kicking and whatnot.
Yep.
It's interesting that Baroness tries to act. Going into this, Baroness is like, "Oh, I am going to beat the ever-loving daylights out of you." But the fight is very, for a character like Baroness to be involved in this, it's very inelegant.
Well, she got to get her hands dirty sometime.
She would probably disagree with you, but yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time. Who does?
She would probably disagree with you and call you a peasant.
Probably.
Stupid peasant, what do you know?
Mm-hmm. Baroness, glad you could make it. Cobra. Who says Cobra provides? Who is the person?
The one who gets shot in the middle of the riot?
Yeah.
My guess is that it's not supposed to be like any big name person.
Okay, so it's just the middle one of their lackeys.
Yeah, it's just a lackey or a grunt or whatever, and it's just like the whole purpose of this is just to show. It's pretty much just to show like, oh, this is things are like flipping around.
Yeah, things are changing. Things are going back to normal. This is America. This is not Cobra.
I don't know about back to normal, but this whoever you have that one trooper.
Yeah.
Who then shoots the Cobra provides, because it's like it's kind of also showing there were people that we don't see that basically these whoever this was, they probably joined because of the paycheck, because it's like, okay, I need to provide for my family, but then seeing everything that goes down and seeing the Cobra Commanders retreating and everything, guy was just like, you know what, fuck it, yeah, I'm done. I quit. And that would have been that would have actually been really kind of cool to have, like, if the series had continued,
Yeah.
To have maybe, more members of Joe who were ex-Cobras who were like, yeah, I only did this, because I had to provide for my family and whatnot. Yeah. This is just, this, it was this or nothing.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I'm not into this. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. I'm done with this crap.
Yep. So we get the general taking down the Cobra flag, putting back up the United States of America flag. Look, it's Unicron.
Obelisk, look, it's Unicron.
Yeah. General, you should say something.
Ships. Yeah.
No, you should say something. So Scarlet goes up to make her speech. Cobra Commander is gone, and Chicago is free for now, etc., etc., etc.
Yep.
And welcome to G.I. Joe. And that's it.
There you go, and that's how it. That's how we end it, with Scarlet basically being like, "Yeah, you're all, you were all Joes today."
Yep. My favorite variant cover from this is the one by Ariel Diaz. It is the Baroness. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
That jacket never looked so good.
Yeah. I still remember that there was supposed to be a cover, a Baroness cover, for, I think it was one of the Devil's Due issues. And it was this great Adam Hughes Baroness.
Nice.
It was this great, Adam Hughes Baroness cover, and it didn't get used.
Yep. So
like,
also,
I think it did get used later on for IDW, but somebody in somewhere, I think it was Hasbro that was kind of like, no.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
No, so, we're not doing sexy Adam Hughes Baroness. And it's like, I think when people saw the cover, it's like, why not? We want that cover.
Yeah, exactly. So because this is continuing where we left off in episode 521 of the podcast, this is the end of the trade with all the variant covers and everything else. And then they have the profiles for all the characters. They have Tiger, Hawk, Frontier, Jinx, Roadblock, Major Blood, Lightfoot, Damon, Stalker, Fadeaway, Zartan, Snake Eyes, Duke, dead, Bomb Strike, Scarlet, Chuckles, Tunnel Rat, Dr. Mindbender, The Bats, Lady J, Cobra Commander, Rock and Roll, Baroness, Cover Girl, and at the end of this, it's a thing of art by, let's say, I don't get that name because I'll screw that up. Art by Freddie E. Williams. Hope Lives Here, and it's Scarlet and Roadblock and all that. And then what is so awesome about this is, in this trade, folks, if you need resources and you can't find them online, this has a list of all various crisis intervention and support networks, mental health resources, and education and awareness resources. This is amazing. I love because this is part of the World on Fire trade paperback, because of issue 7 of World on Fire and the suicide thing. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, no, it's good that they didn't the fact that issue 7 is in there. It's like, let's, we're not just gonna make the resources disappear. It's like, nope, here they are. It's like, if you don't have the individual issue, we're still giving you the resources. And that's good, because I mean, this was I think an important enough thing that it's like, we can't just we can't just let it go.
I like this ending. I like that Chicago is now free. I like that, we didn't have to have Shockwave blow it up or anything like that.
We didn't have to have
or any of that stuff, or dark side of the moon. We didn't have to have Pink Floyd show up and have a concert in Chicago.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, man,
although,
it's Transformers and G.I. Joe, even though this isn't Transformers, but
yeah, no, I don't think Transformers would have worked with this particular iteration of G.I. Joe.
No, I don't think so either. I think they're on their own, and that's fine. And it's a completely different. It's a world of Ben. Cobra's in charge. Like it's a. We've been talking about multiverses all hour long here. Well, we've actually been talking for about 2 hours, but the podcast will be about an hour and whatever. So whatever. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, I dug this. If we hadn't talked as long as we talked when we recorded episode 521, I almost wish we just put it in there and did it as all one thing. But I'm glad we did it as a separate thing because it feels like the end of whatever issue number it was for World on Fire. I forget if it was 10 issues or 9. I forget what it was. And then coming back to do it again with this is really fun and really great. And,
and hey, you know what? Absolute worst case. Is there anything? Does there exist a thing like omnibuses for podcasts? Because if that's the case, we could have it's the G.I. Joe World on Fire omnibus podcast featuring
people would have to
parts together.
Yeah, people would have to pay me to do that, but I could technically cut out the intro, cut out the intro music and clips and whatever that I put in this, and I could find a way to tack it on the end of the other episode, but that would make it like 3.5, 4 hours. Steve doesn't like that, and the spatial things where we store these things sometimes don't like that. So
that's
usually
fair.
When we have 3 to 4 hour episodes, anyway, that's a whole other discussion for another day, for another whatever.
That's
fair. Yeah, we are gonna take a quick break. You're gonna hear some ads and some other stuff, and we'll come back with final thoughts, ratings, and we will talk. We will get Eduardo's opinion on, at this point, what is probably 2-week-old news, but we are recording this the kind of week that the news kind of debuted, with finding out finally who's the new company to get the license for Transformers and G.I. Joe comics. We'll be right back right after this.
Like science fiction? Of course you do, or you wouldn't be listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Well, the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast is an award-winning sci-fi radio show that's been around for over 10 years. We cover everything from Doctor Who to the MCU to pop culture and everything in between. A new show drops on Tuesday mornings on the GCRN website and all of the major podcast platforms. So listen to the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast from the universe and beyond.
We are back here inside the Pull Bag, only on the Geekcast Radio Network, episode 526, G.I. Joe Castle Fall, with myself, TFG1Mike and Eduardo. Final thoughts on Castle Fall and World on Fire in general?
You know what? Honestly, yeah, this was a great way to end this particular iteration of G.I. Joe, and this was unique and interesting. And part of me is like, this is a great story, with like a great place to end it. And then another part of me was like, I would love to see what else that they had in mind. But it's like, either way, I'm good. Like, if this is the last time we're going to be talking about it, I'm okay with that. If like a year or two down the road, we're talking about it again, because, hey, guess what? This is World on Fire, part 2, the bucketing. Okay. Putting the bucket on the fire. It's like, yeah, sure.
That's a bad joke, dude. Too. You don't put a bucket on the fire unless the bucket has water in it. Knock it off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You take the bucket has water, you tip it over, the water goes on the fire. Gee, that would be too long a title.
I know, right?
And plus, you could, depending on the, yeah, well, and then plus, not to mention the fact that if it's a big enough bucket and the fire is the right size, the bucket could smother the fire.
It could potentially, yes. So
yeah, see, there we go. Freaking A, man. No prize it, damn it. Don't complain. No prize it.
No prize it. So, folks, a week ago today, we are talking June 21st here inside the Pull Bag. So 1 week ago today, June 14th, 2023, finally, after so much silence, so much everything, just finally. So there was one news story about maybe 5.5, 6 months ago where Hasbro said, we have a new comics partner for Transformers and G.I. Joe, but we are not yet ready to reveal who that is. And I'm sitting here like, just tell us the damn name. Tell us the damn name. And everybody was speculating and whatever else. My biggest speculation, and I knew this would never happen because I didn't think Hasbro would team up with the thing I'm going to say. So we had Marvel Comics in the 80s for Transformers.
Yeah,
this is 2020. Right. This is 2023. Give it to DC just to be ironic. But I know Hasbro is not going to team up with Warner Brothers and Discovery and all that and DC and everything else. No. But that was my comical thing about it, of like being, ha-ha, it would be hilariously funny if it was DC Comics, and that would be kind of cool. However, according to TFW 2005 and other sources, Image Comics Transformers #1 release date and creative team revealed. Now, I did not know. I knew the one thing I knew about Skybound was it was the Walking Dead guy. It was Robert Kirkman. I did not know it was an imprint of Image Comics. Now, I love Image Comics. I love their
neither did I.
Yeah, I did not. I thought Skybound was its own thing.
Yeah. Here's my thing, because in the time leading up to this, I knew, I had heard rumblings. I had heard rumblings because, I know, because I know a lot of Joe guys.
Yeah.
And I heard rumblings that it was going to be Skybound.
Yeah.
Nothing was being said. Nothing was being said. Then, it was announced that ROM and Micronauts were getting omnibuses from Marvel.
Right.
Which, to me, I'm like, yes, give me the things, And then for a minute there was a little discussion on a couple of sites. Could this mean Marvel's getting the license back?
Yeah, that's what everyone thought too, was potentially Marvel getting it back.
Because Micronauts and ROM are both Hasbro properties, and during the IDW years, towards the end there, all of the Hasbro properties were being lumped into one. They're being lumped into one universe. So, it's that type of thing of like, okay, is this what we're heading towards? But it turned out no. It was, the rumor that had been going around was true. It's Skybound.
Yeah.
To which I'm just like, okay, interesting. And, interesting, it is a sort of a homecoming.
Yeah, a little bit,
because, I think Devil's Due.
Yep.
Yeah, Devil's Due. Devil's Due was at the start. Devil's Due was a subsidiary of Image, and then they're like,
I did not know that.
I think the first like 20-something issues, I believe, had an Image. You had the Image logo on the corner, and then at a certain point, Devil's Due went off on their own.
So just looking at Devil's Due Publishing, Devil's Due I don't think was any kind of, started as both a commercial art studio and a small press comic book publisher. They're separate from Image. 2004, received Micronauts.
No, Image did publish it, because I remember the covers do have the Image logo on it.
Huh. Well, I don't know what you have, because according to this information, I don't see Image's name anywhere on this at all. But it is what it is. Anyway, the news for Transformers comics and G.I. Joe comics. Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment continue via Bleeding Cool Weekend. This is over from TFW 2005. Share for you the release date and creative team of the new Transformers number 01 comic. Void Rivals number 1, which will be kicking off this Transformers / G.I. Joe shared universe storytelling.
The same week, yeah.
Yep. Void's number 1 came out last week. Let's see. We'll hit comic book stores this past Wednesday the 14th. Digital version is already available. Reveals that Transformers number 1 out in October will be written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson. So, Oblivion Song and what's the other one? Do a Power Bomb. I still need to read those and still need to cover those on the show, but I don't know when that's going to happen yet. They also have additional information about the upcoming Duke number 1 and Cobra Commander number 1 comics in January, which you can read, blah, blah, blah. So Transformers number 1 out in October will be written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, the massive Transformers fan, also behind Extremity, Murder Falcon, and So it wasn't Oblivion Song, it was Murder Falcon. That's what it was, and Do a Powerbomb. Duke number 1 out in December will be written by Joshua Williamson, DC Comics' current big writing cheese. Begins Infinite Frontier, so basically Joshua Williamson, the awesome Joshua Williamson. Duke number 1 will be drawn by Tom Riley of both Ant-Man and Wasp, Astro Hustle, and The Thing. Cobra Commander number 1 will be written also by Joshua Williamson and drawn by Andrea Melania, whatever, and launch in January 2024. I am most interested, obviously, in the Transformers book, but you and I will most definitely be covering at least Cobra Commander. I don't know if I want to cover Duke, because what are they going to do? Kill him after the 5th issue? I'm serious. Like, the dude he always dies. Like, why is it always?
Not always.
Most of the time.
Well, I mean, okay, Devils do, IDW, main IDW.
Yeah.
There are a few things where he does get to have a long happy life. But yeah, I do say, yeah, no, they're probably not going to kill him off after the 5th issue, but it's interesting that they're doing this, that they're giving these guys individual minis like this.
Yeah,
kind of makes me wonder: are we going to get like an individual miniseries for Blob?
I don't know if
sports metaphor.
I don't know if these are actual miniseries. I think these are new ongoing. No, the Transformers. No. The Transformers, Cobra Commander, and G.I. Joe and Duke, I think, are all new number 1s for series. Now, potentially, I could be wrong, and they could be miniseries, but I think they are all going to be ongoings for Skybound, because Skybound has the license, and they have to start somewhere, just like how when IDW restarted, where they restarted with the death of Optimus Prime, and then they went into More Than Meets the Eye number 1 and Robots in Disguise number 1. Those were comic book series that lasted, I think, 50, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, 57 issues each, plus other things. So I think these are new ongoings for these franchises, because it's a new publisher and they have to start somewhere. I don't think these are miniseries yet.
Yeah.
Picture. What is this? This is an old picture, isn't it? Oh, this is the. Oh, wow. Okay, all right.
That's Devil's Due number 1. What's on the top corner? What's on the top corner there?
That's interesting, because then Wikipedia needs to be updated, because they say nothing about Image Comics. Anyway.
Well, okay. Be fair, Devil's Due did go on their own, starting with issue 26 of the main comic.
Okay, that's probably why.
The first 25 issues, it was Devil's Due via Image.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you type in G.I. Joe Devil's Due 26, you'll see that it switched to something where it's just the Devil's Due logo.
Yep. Any other final thoughts from you about IDW's G.I. Joe run or World on Fire / Castle Fall before I run through stuff?
Yeah, no, I think the only final thought I have is that not only are we getting this new shared universe, which is apparently called the Energon universe. I don't know why, but maybe Energon is going to be at the heart of a lot of these stories. But one thing I am also glad about is Larry Hama had continued his Marvel run with IDW. It ended on a cliffhanger with issue 300, but they have announced that it is going to continue. Okay. And it's going to continue. It's going to continue from just like when IDW brought the Hama run back.
Right.
First issue of Skybound's Real American Hero comic is going to be 301.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome because they're giving us something for each type of fan. They're giving us the longtime fans that have read 300 issues, and they're continuing that story with Larry Hama doing it. And they're also giving us new stuff with Williamson and all that, and Daniel Warren. Is it Daniel Warren? Whatever. The new Transformers guy. So I'm excited and interested to see what, now that we know a final answer of, yes, Regis Philbin, this is their final answer. It's going to Skybound, Under Image, and all that, and it's gonna be interesting. So coming up, folks, we have got 2 more episodes here in June, episode 527 and 528. 527 will be the Kill Lock Volume 2, The Artisan Wraith. This is IDW Publishing, Livio Ramondelli. This is the second arc of his universe. I highly suggest you check out the Kill Lock Volume 1 and Volume 2. I think you will like it because it's robots, it's also sci-fi, and like, you're a Star Trek nerd, I know you are. So this may be right up your alley. My friend Heather and I reviewed these 2 trades, and they are very, very cool. And then Joe Reed and I are going to be back with another Image Comics title. We're going to do Radiant Black Volume 2 Team Up. So that's what's happening at the end of June. In July, podcasts published there. Steve Megatron and I are going to be back with Star Trek The Motion Picture Echoes #1. Joe Reed and I will do Radiant Black Volume 3 Rogues Gallery. And then Steve and I will do Star Trek Defiant 4 and 5 and Star Trek The Main Ongoing numbers 8 and 9. So that's what's going on for the end of this month and all of next month. Anything you want to promote, sir? Anything you want to say, pimp out, or anything?
Well, I mean, you can always check out Market 42 to hear more. Hear more of me in the podcast world. I'm on Twitter. There is. I will say this, that if you had a chance to read any of the comics that I published, I wrote a few issues for this indie comic called The Seer for Rising Sun. If you like what I wrote, you will be happy in the coming months. I don't want to say any more.
Okay.
Don't trust me. Stuff is coming.
Very cool, very cool. All right, folks, thank you for joining us here inside the Pullbag. If you'd like to get in contact with us and leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. Send us email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Here are all the ways you can listen to us nowadays. Apple, Google Podcasts. Leave us reviews, please. I need to check those iTunes reviews lately, but I haven't done that yet. You can listen to us on Spotify and any other podcatching client you choose to use. Follow us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio for the network, @The Pullbag for the show. I am at TFG1Mike. Would you like to spell out your Twitter?
Yes, it is WHTPLLNKING.
They give him an I, but they won't give him an A or an O.
No, they gave me one I. They wouldn't let me do the I and the E and white and the A and the O, because apparently that's too many letters.
Funny.
Well, excuse me.
Right. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. You can also check out the Pullbag over there as well. Join us next time. As I mentioned, Heather Hahi Prime joins me as we talk about Livio Remendelli's The Kill Lock Volume 2, The Artisan Wraith. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Eduardo Breyer.
More than meets the eye.
Make your greatest game to comics, and we will catch you next time.
Autobots, roll out.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullbag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter @thepullbag and @geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.